Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So I have been watching Hedera closely over the last couple days because we have been seeing some very significant moves happening, specifically around stablecoins. In this case, USDC or Circle. So it did start with crypto.com initially having deposits and withdrawals of USDC live via Hedera. So this is actually very significant because we know how efficient Hedera actually is for stablecoin usage. In fact, the HBAR Foundation did put out a great post regarding how on crypto.com you save the most money by using USDC on Hedera. And this is actually compared to Ethereum, Solana, Kronos, Arbitrum One, Avalanche, XLM, Stellar, Optimism, Polygon, Base, ZK Sync Era, Near, Kronos, ZK EVM, and even Sui. And we can see the overall fee base here across the board. And yeah, Hedera is the, at the most efficient in terms of the network to use for USDC. And it's kind of crazy, but you know what's even crazier about all of this is I put out a post talking a little bit more about this. In fact, it was one of the most recent announcements, which is this one from the HBAR Foundation, which I have open actually over here, which is we're excited to announce that Hedera USDC is now live on Binance as well, the largest centralized exchange in the world, now integrated with the Hedera token service. Users can send and receive USDC on Hedera directly via Binance, all at the speed of the hash graph. This is huge. Now, again, let's go back to this post because I said big news for the Hedera stablecoin ecosystem. Stablecoins are going to be 10 times bigger than what they are right now, with a projected value of 2.8 trillion by 2028. And that's not my prediction, okay? We have been hearing this from big players like, for example, Ripple. We've been hearing it from institutional giants. I mean, across the board, stablecoin growth is going to accelerate in a big way. And the big players that are actually going to help accelerate this are the ones that are powering the most efficient networks to actually move and transact these stablecoins on. And in this case, Hedera is a prime example. Now, I did say the future is very bright. Maybe try saying hello to it. And we already know that that is Hedera. But on top of this, we also saw a big update from Coinbase. So we have Coinbase developer platform did announce that we're excited to announce that Coinbase on-ramp is now live on SushiSwap Labs, the leading DEX on Hedera. Users can now seamlessly convert fiat to HBAR, making it simpler to access the Hedera ecosystem. Guys, do you realize what's happening right now around Hedera? We are seeing some of the biggest moves happening to not just, HBAR as a token itself, but the entire ecosystem. We now have the leading DEX on Hedera being fully supported by Coinbase on-ramp. We also have USDC deposits and withdrawals completely accelerated on Hedera through Binance, crypto.com, and I suspect that that's also going to expand rapidly to additional chains. And when it comes to SushiSwap, it's no wonder why this DEX is getting a lot of love lately. I mean, first off, the team is constantly building and constantly expanding. Just recently, Pluno AI just went live on SushiSwap. Development speed equals can't stop, won't stop. Instant intelligence support from setup guidance to transaction troubleshooting, now directly in app. And this is all through Pluno AI. Again, when we think about this, it's AI agents all within. It kind of feels like a simulation, if you will, because it's an AI agent within the ecosystem of Hedera, within the ecosystem of an ecosystem player on Hedera. Just think about how wild that sentence is, right? But we could see how much building is happening behind some of the leading names on Hedera like SushiSwap. I'm very excited about what's happening here. And just recently, they posted an update on the 12th regarding all of the integrations, all of the backend improvements, all of the moves being made. Guys, it's crazy. It's crazy watching how much is happening on Hedera in such a short amount of time. I mean, right now, as everyone is worried about price action, some of the leading players like Hedera just continue to push forward. And King Solomon also did say in the past week, Crypto.com listed HBAR native USDC, Binance listed HBAR native USDC, Coinbase on-ramp now live with SushiSwap Labs' biggest DEX on Hedera. And I had to quote this because, seeing all of these moves, I said the world isn't ready for what is cooking behind Hedera and HBAR. You better be paying attention now because, I've been making videos on HBAR for a very long time, as you guys are probably already aware, right? But it just feels as if the entire landscape around Hedera is shifting. I said this recently with a lot of the moves being made around some of the events. Like if we go to Hedera right now, right? They just wrapped up HederaCon, one of the biggest events around the space. We saw a huge spotlight put on, the ecosystem around Hedera, from tokenization to DeFi to AI to, even crypto policy around Hedera. I mean, everything that we saw at HederaCon really kind of spotlighted why Hedera does deserve a top 10, position, but also potentially even a top 5 position. But they continue to push these major events. They continue to expand. A lot of the ecosystem players like Scintilla continue to spotlight why they chose Hedera. I mean, right now, the recognition around Hedera is at all-time highs. And I also think that that's very evident by social engagement. Even if we go over here to Lunar Crush, we have HBAR social activity is up. Hedera has 1% of all crypto social activity today. So again, we could see how much engagement there is around Hedera. It's very clear that people are starting to, wake up and realize just how big Hedera is becoming in this space. It kind of feels like, the best way that I could describe it, okay, is it's like finding Ethereum before the NFT hype hit. Right now, we're not really kind of looking at any hype around Hedera. We're just looking at how much is happening and how this will lead to HBAR being one of the biggest projects in this space because of all of the work, the time put in, and all of the big, expansions happening behind Hedera. This is why I can't stop talking about Hedera, because every single day there's something new happening. And also, let's put a spotlight real quick on the DeFi side of things. Because, yeah, DeFi on Hedera is growing rapidly. That's why we look at the stablecoins, right? Like, we look at these stablecoin moves being made, but we also look at SushiSwap being completely, all in on, changing the DeFi world by allowing DeFi to live on a chain like Hedera, where, you no longer have to worry about massive gas fees, long settlement times. This is why I do think that when we think about like Uniswap or PancakeSwap or any of these big dexes, I think that SushiSwap is going to quickly surge past them because of how efficient it is being on Hedera. Now, if we actually go over here to DeFi Llama, we can see the stablecoin market cap breakdown. So USDC dominance is obviously 99.18%. If we look at stablecoins themselves, all right, and I've actually been looking at this recently, really kind of leading into like December when this really started to be like a huge thing. We're starting to see some nice growth here. Now, I do think that with a lot of the USDC enablement on some of the top exchanges, I think that we're going to see a lot more growth of this chart. I actually think that we're going to see a lot more volume on Hedera because of that as well. But again, I think that it's going to be even more exchanges, because if Binance, the leading centralized exchange around crypto, is enabling this, I'm sure that Coinbase is getting ready. I'm sure that, Kraken is getting ready. I'm sure that KuCoin is getting, like, at this point, it just feels like if one big exchange is doing it, almost every single other one is falling into place as well. Now, I don't want to talk too much about TVL, because obviously TVL is down right now. The entire market is down right now. HBAR is down right now. But one thing that I will spotlight is Bonzo Finance hitting over $30 million. We know that it's on a massive feat because they did hit, over $55+ million back in February. But, this is one of the big players around DeFi that I do think really kind of deserves a spotlight, because they have been absolutely killing it as well. And even more recently, we do have from Bonzo Finance, total value locked and active loans metrics for Bonzo Finance continues to grow, ranking it the number 3 largest DeFi protocol on Hedera. We're on a mission to become the liquidity layer of Hedera, laying a foundation for the next phase of DeFi on the network. And the best part about this, right? And something that I have been really kind of focused on a lot when it comes to Bonzo Finance is what's really kind of going on behind this when we look at the actual lending protocols in TVL. And these are like the biggest ones. This is how big lending actually is within DeFi. So $59 billion tied to the lending side of DeFi alone. And we could see the fees, we could see the revenue as well. But if we look at this, right, the ones that are dominating this is like Avi, for an example. Again, when we think about Hedera compared to a lot of these chains here, well, I don't think that I need to tell you guys that Hedera is far more efficient than almost all of these chains. And of course, we do have Bonzo down here at number 57. Okay, now if we got back to $55 million, we would be moving all the way up to almost like 40. I actually think that Bonzo could potentially move into the top like 15, because the top 15 is like right around $500 million, which I do think, you know, we will hit those high massive valuations in terms of TVL once we start to see people waking up to how efficient Hedera actually is for lending and borrowing and just DeFi itself. I think that with all of these moves being made around Hedera, okay, I don't think that people are realizing how this space actually works. Like, I remember when things would pump back in the days and everyone was like, all right, well, this is why it's pumping. Now, people don't realize that all of this good news, it's not immediate price action. Like, I see this quite often now in this space where like people are saying, oh, well, you know, why isn't the price moving if all of these, you know, big announcements are being made and all of this good news is coming out? Guys, right now the market's down. It's down significantly. But all of this news is still here. We have everything right in front of us. We have all the information right in front of us about how Hedera's ecosystem is growing, expanding, and rapidly becoming a massive player in the space. Yet the prices are down. The market is down. This market is boring right now. In fact, it's actually depressing for most people. But what do we have? We have the information. We know it's going to eventually happen. We know that all of this does matter. It's all pressure. This is all pressure building behind the scenes. This is why I keep telling you guys that HBAR's price action this year, 2025, HBAR's price action will wake up and shock almost everyone. And no, that's not me selling you guys a pipe dream. That's not me saying like, oh yeah, this is going to happen because, you know, I need views, I need clicks. No, I'm telling you guys this because I have witnessed this time and time again in this space where a project looks extremely bullish. We see all of this great news, but the price action just sucks. It's terrible. It's down in the dumps. Now, I do remember when HBAR was trading at 4 cents back in November. Okay, today we're around like 20 cents. So we're still doing pretty good, but I still think that we go much, much higher this cycle. And yes, I do think that we hit the dollar plus level. I think at most $2.50 is a very good, you know, bet. But again, it all depends on how much hype around crypto there is. Not around Hedera, because Hedera does not need hype, but it does need a lot more eyes on Hedera. That's why I'm actually very excited about all of these big events that Hedera is actually hosting, because it is providing a much larger spotlight on how big Hedera has become, how far they've come as well. I mean, I remember when HBAR, or I shouldn't say HBAR, but Hedera hit 300,000 followers on X. They're now over 431,000 followers. So people are becoming aware of Hedera. They know the name now. And it's only a matter of time until we start to see, you know, HBAR really, really kicking off and becoming a very big piece of this space. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.